Getting speed while surfing a wave can be critical for setting up big maneuvers, making it past closeout sections, racing fast barrels, and more. I'm Brad Jacobson, and I've filmed surfers of all levels, from top pros to absolute beginners, for over 15 years and can't even imagine how many waves I've seen surfed. Through watching this repetition of surfers riding waves, I've gathered extensive knowledge from what the top surfers do right, from the way they paddle, the foot placement, their distribution of weight, etc. Knowing how to work a wave to gain speed can dramatically increase your surfing. When you first start surfing, your main goal is just to stand up and go straight. After that, you figure out how to maneuver the board to, what surfers call going down the line. Going down the line is basically where you steer your board either to the left or right, depending on which way the wave is going, and try to keep you and your board on the open face of the wave and in front of the whitewater. When first attempting this, it can both look and feel really weird. Arms are flailing, boards hopping, water's flying. Most of the time, going down the line while surfing will give you a longer ride. It also opens up more things you can do, like maneuvers and getting barreled. When surfers first start going down the line, they basically stand there and let that wave push them along. While this is a great method if you simply want to cruise on a wave, it will hinder you if you want to learn maneuvers, make more barrels, and outrace closeout sections. Hey, why does speed matter? Whether you're going for a power carve or a big slash, speed will actually help you maintain balance as well as throw a much larger spray. Let me give you a couple examples of why and how this actually works. Let me preference by saying that yes, you can actually gain a lot of speed off a bottom turn, and the bottom turn to me is the most underrated thing in all of surfing. And that is why I'm going to make a whole episode just on bottom turns. So I'm not going to cover gaining speed off the bottom turn, although you will see it in these videos. All right, so this Dane's on, very good at getting speed. So he's getting up. Now, as he gets up, right, you're saying, well, his board's headed straight. He's looking here and he's ready to get this thing directly down the line, right? Because we're talking about building speed as he comes up. Kind of like a skateboarder. You know how if you ever skateboard, you're going to turn side to side to side to gain speed. That's all he's doing here. It's just up and down and up and down. He has enough speed now that he can use that bottom turn and whack. I mean, look at that. That's a big spray for a waist-high wave. Here's Matt Pagan. We're going to show you once again how speed can help you get, what is this, waist-high wave? All the way up in a full rotation on a little waist-high wave. You're wondering, how do these guys do it? It's using speed off the wave. So right here, he's setting up the inside section. He's looking ahead. Once again, he's reading the wave, always conscious of what this wave is getting ready to do. It's going to have a little inside reform section. So right here, he realizes, I got to get this thing moving. Watch how he's just pumping. It's just like skateboarding, you guys. And if you've skateboarded, you know, but this, he's using, pushes off that back leg. Maybe this will help explain a little more. See how he pushes off that back foot? So he's pushing out, almost like kicking it, using it to back, pushes out, comes back up, pushes out right here, getting ready to set up that maneuver. So he really wants to get speed here, pushes hard again on the bottom turn, and then bam, releases all that speed. And that's how he's able to land that on such a small wave. All right, so here's a good example, right? This day is choppy, it's crappy. It's one of the days that we go out surfing, and we surf because we want to surf, we want to have a good time. So let me show you what happens here. Enough of my talking. Comes off the bottom. You can see he's kind of straight-footed right when he comes off the bottom, so he's going to be losing a little bit of speed. Hits a little bump warble in the face there. Comes back up, goes for the turn, and he's just out of speed. So as he turns, the wave dies with him because he doesn't have enough speed. So coming back to the starting, he's facing straight down, bottom drop. Remember with the example we just saw with Dane, he was up high. So he started off straight, picks the board up with his feet, and Dane would have been coming up in this area over here, right? And now right here is when, instead of coming down flat, see how he's in the flats, it's hard to gain any kind of speed down in the flats. Right about here is where Dane would have been dropping and picking up speed on this section here. And so as this guy's trying to make a turn, he's coming off the flats. He's just losing speed. Dane would actually have been having a lot of speed off of that face of that wave. And then right about here, Dane would be probably hitting this guy in the head with his bottom turn. But instead, Dane would start to come up back in this zone in here, like where this guy is here. You can tell this guy has no speed at all. Look how all the weight is distributed back. He's just kind of stalling. So as this guy's turning on that part with no speed, Dane would be looking at this section in here. Look how that section picked up just perfectly for a nice little wrap around right in this section. Here's a different scenario. This is Luke Davis, very, very good surfer. I did a video a while back on a Huntington hop, right? A lot of people will hop to try to make a wave. What Luke is doing here, not only is he hopping, he's maneuvering back and forth to build speed. And now he's in the wave. Now he's getting even more speed by doing that same thing. And then big enough maneuver right there, right? But not only that, he's still got enough speed because he's banking off that. He's using that bank to give him speed for this next section. Whack. That's a well-ridden ride. So I'll show you again. Watch how he's going back and forth, building the speed to keep this wave going. And then boom. And right here, his board this is his nose, this is his tail. He's actually pushing off that wave to bank, what we would call a bank off, which is boom, banks off of that and then use that speed and the bottom turn. Boom. Very nicely done. All right, so this wave here is my buddy Dana, and Dana is actually a good surfer. He's been surfing for a while. We're just going to show this wave to show where his progression is going. You see how he's kind of coming up a bit. He is gaining a little bit of speed, but this little check turn here, and then finally the little smack there in the fall. Let me just show this a little bit more to kind of give you an idea of what maybe Dana could do to kind of progress along. So as he's coming down, see, he's actually staying up on the mid part of the wave as he comes back up. Now that stops him from going all the way up, right? But what he's going to want to do is really be up in this zone here. So as he's coming back up, he does get up there. He wanted to get a little bit higher and then pump down. So you see how he's leaning back right here on this back foot? He's actually slowing himself down on that. So now that he's slowed down, when he comes back up, he's still got a little bit of speed from that first pump, but not enough to really get into a nice carve along this section here. And so that little check turn there kind of slowed him up a bit. And then when he comes to do this here, he's really running out of speed. And so that's why he's leaning back. So if he would have had more speed, he would have popped that in. The speed would have pushed his body forward instead of backwards, because now there's not enough speed and down he goes. So this is actually a prime example of surfing a wave decently, but just taking that one extra step to get it really going would really pop this wave more. All right, this is Luca Larson. This is, I don't know, because it's a foot with a leash kind of hanging on it. All right, here goes Luca. Tongue out, ready to go. We're going to watch as he comes down, up, boom. Uses that power to get in a nice little turn there, right? Let's take this, show you why he was able to do that maneuver. The thing I like is see how his board is facing upwards because he knows he needs to stay high. He wants speed. The speed is going to get him that maneuver. So he comes up again a second time right here. See that board all the way up again. It's facing up again. Comes back down and then uses all the speed from that he's getting. Boom, for that one big maneuver. You know, this is an average day. It's a very clean day. Look at the face of that wave. That's beautiful. He's still able to get off a really nice, powerful, boom, power maneuver in that because he had that speed. Okay, here's Koa Smith on a real basic day. There's nothing special about this day. As you can tell, there's some chop to the waves. It's nothing great, but he's going to make the most out of this. So watch as he progresses. Once again, he doesn't just go down straight and then kind of curve into it. He's lifting the board back up, and just watch how he simply works speed off the face of this wave and continues to work it until he finds the spot. Boom. Bam. That last one's really important because he's really kind of coming down and then uses that to boost him up. Look, he's as high up as this wave is tall. And he did that because of all this work he put in on the first part of the wave. Look how easy he makes that look, right? Like, don't you just wish you could just fly a couple feet over a lip and then just land it? This is a great example. Now you saw some of the other ones kind of getting up into this top space, because you want to have all that speed coming down this face instead of coming straight, finishing here, and now you're slowing down. You're coming off the bottom, and then you're sitting in this side, right? And now the wave, it just dies out. So really what you want to do is have yourself in a position up in here coming down, right? So now you'd be coming down into this little flat spot, be using the bottom turn to come up right into this range right here and just boom, exploding on this section. All right, here's Dane Zahn. You see, it looks like he's going to go straight. He's going to come right down because he sees that this thing is kind of walling up on this side. So he wants to get up and high so that he can gain a ton of speed to get by a closeout section. See how he's immediately up and running. Now he's sitting high. Not only is he sitting high, he didn't just come up once and then come back down. Watch how he kind of stays up. And all he's doing here is just trying to hold up as high as he can to get this speed drop into the bottom turn. And like I said, stick around for another episode next time, because I'm going to cover these bottom turns, because this is actually the most important part. As he's using that speed, boom, look at that. Now, obviously, Dane Zahn is an insane surfer, and not everyone's going to be able to pull this off. But let me back it up and show you that bottom turn was great, but it's only possible because he's up high, and then his weight is on this front foot. That back foot is super light. You can even see him picking it up off of there. So he's going to stomp down and use all that speed he just got from coming down this, whatever. Let's say it's on the face of that thing is 4 foot, right? So he's got 4 foot of speed coming down, uses the bottom turn perfectly, and then whoa, all that speed is used to make that maneuver. Here's Parker Browning. Look at that. Boom. He is up. Excuse the board paint there. He's up about as high as this wave is. Once again, this isn't anything big. This isn't like any crazy days where it's awesome. What he's doing, watch him work here. Up. I mean, this whole under part of the board is out because he's coming up and down and up and down and up and down, just working that speed. Like I told you, speed, faster. You can see, and then right here's that section he wanted. Had enough speed to get it up in the air. And hey, how's it going? Look at that. It's a great wave by Parker. It's a great example of what speed can do to increase your progression on surfing. Here's a good example of small waves and why speed helps out on small waves. Doesn't land it, but he got a nice little air out, maybe even a snap photo right there for Instagram. Oh, he loses his foot. But why is this so important? Small wave, waist high kind of a day. He stays busy. First thing he does is get up high. He doesn't want to come out to the flats. The smaller the wave is, the easier it is to get stuck down here in the flats. Gets up high again. Now he's got this thing moving, right? Getting faster, and then finds that closeout section for the maneuver. And that only takes place because he has been building speed all the way through this wave. How to make small waves fun? There you go. Use speed. Working the wave to gain more speed will also help you make it out of more barrels, right? And isn't that what we all want to do? I've seen a lot of surfers pull into a fast barrel only to have it race past them, leaving them behind. Here's a few examples to better explain how to use speed in the barrel. This is Alex Gray, and in my eyes, he is the best at manipulating the speed in the South Bay. So as we go here, this is a fast wave. He's going to get speed no matter what he does, right? So right here, he knows I've got to stay high. Some people would want to use that speed, come down for a wide old bottom turn here, but it wouldn't work on a wave like this. Alex knows this wave. So he's staying low. The more compact you're sitting, the faster you're going to go. Sees that he's got this section, comes back up, finds he's in the perfect section for this thing. Look at this. So as he's coming out here, he realizes he's going to make this thing. So what does he do? Slams on the brakes. 2 hands to slow it down, right? Here's another reform, another barrel reform, meaning that this wave is going to barrel a second time. So he's slowing up because he wants to be in a double barrel, right? This is like one of the greatest things that can happen to a surfer. He knows he's got to come back up and get active again, start pumping. Full body extension to get up there. So he goes from that slowed down spot, fully leans up. Now he's in a spot where he can turn the board to come down the line, use the momentum of the wave to build speed. Pumps one time here, realizes I'm kind of deep. I'm going to want a second pump, comes up again. You can see the board. As he's coming out, he's like, whoa, I'm coming out too fast. So what does he do? Hits the brakes again. You can see the spray coming up from his hand, slowing down. That also helps him keep the board up high. So by using his hands to grab the wall, he's pulling the board back up, keeping him on a high line instead of coming out here into the flats. Pulls back up, a little spit on that thing. Now he's in a good spot and then just rides this thing out. So watch this in full time. Using the speed, comes up once, comes out, slows down, hits the brakes. Now he realizes he's got to get going again. Hits the brakes because he wants to slow down, spend as much time in that barrel as possible. Alex is the best example for what I'm showing you about using the speed to really get you through these waves. So here's a great example, barrel there at Kelly Slater's wave pool, right? This is a fast barrel. It looks super easy, and you know, you always see videos of people getting barreled here and coming out of it. It's not. It's a very, very, very fast barrel. All right, so this guy's coming down. Now, as you can see, here comes the barrel. He's setting up the barrel. He even takes off some of the pressure. He's doing everything right here. He sneaks under the barrel, which was great. See how it comes in? Sneaks under the barrel. The only problem is, look at his board is going up, right? Once you start to kind of put that board up, that means you're stalling a little bit, right? Because you're putting more pressure back here instead of on this front foot. So that single stall right there, he tries to recorrect it. You can see the board is still up high, and he's going to eventually try to get it down right there. But this way it passes him by. So he did the right thing. It was a hard one because he snuck under, but right when he snuck under, keep the board like that. You'll see once he lifts it, he stalls, and that little bit of a stall got him out of that thing. This is Matt Mohagan and his little bird friend right here. Matt's going to get in the barrel. The bird's going to stay the heck away. This is a prime example, the best example I have of how to truly work for speed in a barrel that needs to be worked. So as he comes down, now he's going to use a bottom turn for speed. And once again, you know, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button so you can see when I do this. That's going to be my next video. He's coming off the bottom, lining up the barrel, right? And right here, he knows this spot. The average person would think, oh, I got this barrel made easily. No, this inside section over here gets gnarly. So as he's right here, he knows he's got to haul butt. Watch what he does. That, you know, it is simply wave knowledge and the ability to go up and down and work, sit, enjoy the little bit of a spit coming out with you, and out you go. I mean, that's a classic barrel. I've seen so many people just stand right here, and then they would be here, and then they would be back there, and then they would not make it out of this barrel. I'm not saying you need to do this in every barrel. There is a lot of barrels out there that you can get into and just stand straight and come out with a spit or whatever. But in some circumstances, when it's big, heavy, fast like this, you got to work for it. Waves like this are not for the weak of heart, right? So the stuff I'm telling you is going to work on some waves. And sometimes not only do you have to know how to ride it fast and high and use speed, etc. Sometimes you just have to have absolute nuts, because watch this wave as it comes down and this thing gets gnarly. Look how thick that is. That would definitely break your board amongst different types of bones in your body. As we can see, look at this thing. He doesn't make it out, and that is a 10. That thing spinning like that is an absolute 10. What goes wrong here? So as he comes down, he's lining up, straightens his board out, sits low. You can see his trail. He had the original line right. I would have kept following that line up instead of straightening down. And maybe he saw this and was like, I'm getting the heck out of this thing. And then he decides to line this thing up. So he's doing this right. And remember, if you're sitting high on this wave, there is a high probability that you are going to get lipped over. And so the ability to ride high on a thick wave like this is a fine line. Yeah, you can get an insane barrel, but you can also get absolutely worked. So as you can see, he's sitting low, board's facing the beach, is facing in. So he is basically stalling that where he could have been. You can see his original line. He would have been right into this zone here, still getting speed because he's still coming down the face instead of at the bottom slowing down. And so as you'll see, this thing could just detonating. He would have been right in this little zone here, right where the mouse is, and he would have come out with a spit. So is it worth trying to hold a higher line? Because you could see there is a possibility this big old thick lip clips his head and pounds him directly into the sand. But if it's ridden right, man, that's a barrel you will never forget. I mentioned earlier I like to show you, waves that everyone's going to ride. Well, not everyone's going to ride Kelly Slater's wave, right? This is a wave pool. It's a very fast wave, but this is a really good example of flattening out and going too slow. As you can see here, he's sitting really, really low on this wave. So his board is flat at this point, which means you're not going to be picking up very much speed other than what you've gotten from this part of the wave here. So as he flattens out, this wave is still going to go fast. And as he gets going here, he's still, see how flat he is right there? He's basically going to come to a dead stop. As he comes down to this little section here, he just flat out stops. And then there goes the barrel, right? And that would have been a really fun barrel. But I'll show it again a little bit here. You can see how he just flattens out, stops right there, and then just the wave runs by him. Okay, so here's a really good one. This is a nice barrel. This guy does almost everything right. Actually, I'm going to play this through to show you what happens. Right? Look at the little spit at the end of this thing. Beautiful wave. Doesn't make it. Now, am I saying he's definitely going to make it if he does this? It's one of those things that we don't know. As he comes up, right? So see how he does that and then he sits. The thing he could have done was right about here, instead of sitting, he could have done one more pump up the wave. The same exact pump he did here to come up, stretching, getting that board up high. He could have sat, realized that this thing is going to be a really fast barrel, hit one more up. So if he hits one more up, he would have been coming up right about in here where the mouse is. So he would have been in this zone instead of this zone. And he could still be coming down. So he'd still be in this same exact position, right? So now as I move this forward, see how he's here? He would have been right here instead because he would have pumped up higher and he probably would have been going, obviously he definitely would have been going faster because he would have been coming down the face of the wave. So now he would have been sitting right in here, coming down. You see in the same, he could have been riding the wave the exact same, just one more pump. As we forward it through, he would have been right in this zone here. Now this is where it's going to get tricky because I don't know if he would have made it coming sideways. He would have had a lot more speed than he did here. And right here, you can see his board straightens out. So he would have wanted to been coming sideways down that wave instead of straightening it. But what would have happened is he would have been right in this zone. He would have been deep, right? So would he make it that deep? We'll never know. But if he would have snuck out with that spit right there. And that would have been an insane barrel. This is a good example of two things. Like I said, you don't always need to have a ton of speed. And with barrels, sometimes you actually want to slow down. At the starting of this wave, look how high up he gets here. That is amazingly good. You want to be, the higher up you go, the faster you're going to come down because he's going to use that momentum to come down, where in here there's no way to build speed at the bottom. So as he's coming down, comes back up again, right about here he realizes, you can't see it in the video, but this wave is starting to shoulder off here. So guess what he does? Pulls the e-brake. That's a beautiful stall. So not always is it a speed thing. Like I said, there's going to be different scenarios for each time, each wave. You really got to learn how to, knowledge of the waves and where it's going to stall out, etc. He stalls, gets up under the barrel, and comes out. It's not like an all-time epic barrel, but I wanted to show you this just for the simpleness of how he's using speed at the starting, stalls. It's not all about speed. Hops under the lip and gets barreled. So that's a cool example for you guys. All right, this is Hudson Ritchie. I'm going to let it play through real quick. He lost me. I thought for sure this thing closed out. He's not coming out of that, right? He does. How does he do that? Well, number one, he's dropping in sideways. He's not coming in to try to bottom turn into this super fast kind of closing out barrel. So as he comes in, he's automatically lifting up, right, to go as high as he can because he knows he's going to need to come down. Use the speed of the actual wave to get him through this. Look at his back foot. You know what that's telling you is that all his weight is up front. He's going to push the board to get as much speed as he can. As he's coming down, he's picking up speed, and it's the only reason he makes this barrel. Now he's starting to go faster. He didn't hold that line. He actually pulls up. See how he pulled up higher? He pulled up higher because he knows it's kind of an almondy barrel, but he's going to need as much speed in the barrel so he doesn't just stay straight and ride this barrel and hope for the best. So watch this. He comes back up. As he's doing that, now he's somewhere in here, and I'm confused because I'm over here. That was my fault as the videographer. You can see he's right in here. So he's punching through using all the speed he gained over here. And now he's completely out of frame. But then you can see that even right about here, he knows he's got to punch through. So he comes up one last time. And now he's going to use the speed coming down the wave to punch out of that wave. Okay, so this one's a little bit painful to watch. Let me I'll play it for you here. Look at this barrel. That's a pretty good barrel. Okay, so what happens? What goes wrong here? He drops in straight. And we want to be up high, but let's just discuss him first. Drops in straight, knows this thing's going to barrel, does the right thing to at least figure out how am I going to get in the barrel. So he picks all the way up. You can see he's trying his hardest to get up as high as he can, but it's hard because he bottom turned. He's like, he knows he's in trouble now, but he's so far back. He sneaks under it, which is impressive. But at this point, he's got no speed. He's laying flat. Look at the board, just flat there. And it goes on, wow, without him. So what could he have done? He could have come down sideways like we've seen in some of the previous ones. So he would have been up in this section here, kind of coming down sideways, obviously not straight sideways, but he would have tried to have been as high as he can. So at the point where he's starting to bottom turn, he actually would have been coming down the face of the wave right in this little zone. As we move it down, he would have been up inside the barrel at this point, using the downward motion of the wave for his speed. He would have been in this little zone right here. I don't think it's foam balling, so I think he would have been just fine. Sitting up high, he would have been holding that line, maybe even coming back up for a second pump. Remember, like we've saw in some of those other barrels, it's not just one pump and then stop and ride straight. This one would have taken some work, kind of like that Matt Mohagan barrel. You would have been right in this zone where the spit's coming out. Look at this thing. He would have been right in this he would have been in a perfect spot. The reason why I want to show you this one is because you're saying, well, Brad, on some of these waves, it's hard to not go straight. It's hard to go down the line, especially on a bigger day like this one with Kei Nishikori. I'll show you the wave first. Down he goes, out of the barrel he comes. Very nicely ridden and gets out of the closeout. So what does he do here? Watch as he takes off. One of the first things he does, he knows he's straight. He's got to turn the board, right? And it's a bigger board, bigger day. Guys using more volume. It's a little bit harder to turn this thing on the takeoff. So what does he do? Digs water, grabs a hold of the water to help spin, keeps knees bent really low. All his weight is kind of sitting back on his back foot because he needs to take the pressure off the front so the board will turn and go to the right. See how he used that back foot to get the board to start to move? That back foot and that hand drag is actually turning him sideways. And you can see all the kick up. Whoa, look at this. He actually used his knee. See how there's water coming up right there? He used his knee to help spin the board. This is an advanced move. You're not going to go out and surf tomorrow if you're just a beginner and pull this thing off. Okay, so now he's got the board turned. He's still using his hand to keep the board up high to help so that he doesn't want to come down on the flats because this thing will close out and detonate on him. So as he does that, he's going to hunch down again, still dragging that water because he needs this board to come up high because he's going to use that little hop, got him up into the barrel, and now he's going to use the speed coming down. He's going to need a little bit more speed. So what does he do to get more speed? Pops back up and comes out. I really like this clip of Noah Collins. I'll show you the wave first. And why this one's a little bit different and how he used speed to get out of it. Remember how I told you, come down sideways. This drop, if he would have tried to have come down sideways, would have flipped him over. Some waves you can't come down sideways. See, look at this thing. It was a late drop. If he got in earlier, yeah, he could have possibly have made it down sideways. This one, he's just lucky to make it down, right? So he makes that drop. Great drop, by the way, Noah. Bottom turns in. We talked about that bottom turn. Now he's flattening out, right? There's no speed right here. So he's flattening out, slowing down. He's still flat, and he's thinking, uh-oh, like I have to get speed if I'm going to try to make this barrel. So as he's staying flat, lifts his back foot because he knows he's going to use that to push off and bring himself up the face of the wave. So as he puts that foot back down, pushes the board, you can see all his body up, brings that board up high, pumps again. I don't know if you can see his board. Watch his board go from here to basically up in here for that second pump. Now he's all the way up high again. Remember, he was down here, all the way up high. He's going to put all the way in that front foot and then push, using the speed of the wave to come down and bust through that wave. So here's another one. Like I mentioned on some of the previous ones, it's hard to drop in at an angle on all the waves. And once again, each wave is different, so I can't give you the same exact thing to do on every wave. Dane's on here. What do you do if you can't go straight down the face of the wave, but you still want to get up, get some speed for that barrel? You pick it all the way up and get in. Watch how he does that. He pulls everything up. You can see he's leaning in. He knows he needs to get up in here. So what does he do? Pulls everything up. All the weight on that back foot. Board is facing up tall. Sits it, rides it up high, uses that speed coming back down to make it. It wasn't a great barrel, it closes out and everything, but just that little quick motion got him into the barrel. This one's kind of painful for a couple reasons, as you're going to see. Cartwheel. Oh, I didn't notice that when I first saw it. Look at that. Does he scorpion? He fully scorpions. And then this guy over here, even if you make it, this guy's chandeliering the wave. Why that guy didn't go either. Look at this barrel. There's all kinds. There is so much wrong going on with this wave. But let's go back to the main idea. So this guy, not only is the board not straight, he's actually got it curved going that way, which is even harder. So yeah, you ideally want to come down the line, whether like I showed you earlier with Kay, trying to get that thing sideways, or even cheating a bit and at least coming down this way. So as this thing progresses, you're going to be in this zone here, starting to pick it up. Hopefully you remember that from some of the other videos I showed you where you pump it up. Once you get down to the flats here, you're kind of dead. As you can see, he's in the flats. He's slowing down at this point. Tucks into the barrel and realizes that he's going too slow. He knows I'm not going to make it. Maybe even he's a really nice guy. He sees this guy going. He's like, I'm not going to make it anyway. I'm going to show you. I'm going to jump off here, let you know I'm not going. He's looking at him. I still don't know why that guy didn't go. But so right here, he's jumping off, right? You're going to be up higher pumping. And you're going to be kind of tucked because this is not the biggest barrel we've seen. Instead of trying to come off the bottom like he did, you're going to be now in the prime position, which would be right here. You're eyeballing this guy saying, dude, what are you doing? All right, as it goes, right about where he's scorpion is where you would be because he jumped forward. So he didn't have that much speed, but when you jump forward, you get speed. So he's coming down off the face, straightening down here, right where that guy is scorpion. You're going to be right in this zone here. The problem that you're going to have for making that is that this guy just chandeliered you, and it looks like he's laughing. He just chandeliered you. So using that speed, so you would have wanted to pump one more time to get up and then punch through this guy's chandelier. Pack, you would have been right in here and you could have just sat there. At this point, this wave is so perfect. Like I was saying, sometimes you don't have to pump it. You don't have to work it. You just stand there. At this point, you would have just stood there and been barreled. Don't want to just show you all like the good ones. So this is something that can happen bad when you come up to go high to try to get speed. Look at this wave though. Like just pause it right there. How beautiful is that? He does the right thing. Bottom turns, does a little stall. And then right here realizes I want to get up a little bit higher because you can feel the spit and he's straightening out that, which even though it looks like a perfect barrel, you do kind of want to come out at an angle. You don't want to get clipped. Come back up. See how he sits? See how he did that little push up, which was nice because now it's going to get him out of this little barrel section, except he gets pushed up too high. Oh, that was a nice barrel too. So you just got to be careful with these. Like I said, it's one thing for me to sit here and tell you, what to do, but I can't tell you that sometimes this part of the wave is going to suck you up and make you miss a really cool little barrel exit. Look at that. That's a tough one. And lastly, how speed can help you get around those closeout sections and back to the open face. Okay, this is my buddy Alex Fry. This is a great example of how he's going to use speed to not only pull off a nice maneuver, but get around a potential closeout. As you can see, this wave is picking up. Let me show you really quick. Fast wave, and then boom. Let me wind this thing back. Right away, if he goes straight, there's no way he makes this wave. And if this guy decided to go, there's no way he makes the wave. So this guy nicely backed off. Right away, he knows he needs to stay up high. This is what we've been saying the whole time. Speed comes from coming down the face of the wave. Although you don't always need to get up high and do these what's called roller coasters to gain speed on waves. These are fast waves I'm showing you. So as he comes up, he avoids this section because he's got speed. And then this thing's going to kind of come down in front of him. And now he sees an opening way over here. You can't see it in the photo. So he's going to do one last pump. Come down, use the bottom turn, and then whoosh, nice. That's a really nice wraparound. So up high, speed, sees his section, comes down, uses the bottom turn, and then whack. It's a great example of using speed to get around little weird closeout areas and then use it for the maneuver at the end. This is Travis Logie, and I'll show you the wave. Gets off this beautiful maneuver. Watch this. Boom. So much style. This is an interesting one because it's an open face that keeps going. He stays in the midsection of the wave. It's Malibu. It's crumbly, so it's not what we would consider top to bottom, so he's not going to get clipped. But if he stays down here in the flats, he has no speed, right? So what Travis does here is he just does these little pumps. So he's building speed on these little mid-wave pumps, I guess we could call it. Mid-wave pumps. Anyway, you see how he's coming up higher, and then finally he comes all the way up. There's a lot of birds in these videos. He's looking at the section in front of him, always aware of the wave. Gets one high ride right here, knowing he's got to get past this part that's getting ready to break in front of him. You see he's getting low. He's going to use all the speed off of this. Focuses all the weight forward. His back foot is only there just basically as steering. Uses all this speed. Properly uses the bottom turn. Comes up with that speed and gets off a really nice turn on a good size wave. So this is like a mid-wave pump. You don't see this a lot on crumbly waves. You're going to see this. And this is a great way to extend the wave and then come up high for that one last pump right there. Use all that speed. Okay, this is Colin Weinberg on a beach break. Beach breaks are normally a very fast wave. Colin surfed this wave a lot and knows that this wave is not going to just stay open and let him cruise on it. He's coming up right away. This section, if he doesn't get speed, this would close out on you. But Colin stays up high here, gets around that. Opens his mouth wide too. That's really important. It's bad because aerodynamically it's slowing him down. He should close his mouth. Yes, I'm messing with you. Comes back up again. He's trying to stay as high on this wave because now look, another little closeout section. He's eyeing the section he wants to actually do the maneuver on. So he's like, okay, there it is. I know if I can just get past all that closeout junk, I can hit it. Whoa, very nice slash. So this is Malibu, a wave that generally stays open-faced for a long, long time. How can you make the most out of a Malibu wave? Let me show you this guy's wave first here. I'll kind of do it fast because this is a really long wave. It's Malibu on a really good swell, which you get off about 1.5 million turns on. And you can see this guy made the absolute most out of this wave. I mean, he rode it all the way to the inside. So how did he extend the life of this wave? Right away. Look at this guy's chandelier. Outside of that, he stays down here. He's going to get way behind this wave and he might not be able to catch up. So he knows if you look at his eyes, he's looking up here. He actually wants to run this guy over. No, he's actually looking up here because he's got to get this board up high. Comes up. Whoa. Nice little cut at the back there. And now if he comes straight down, he's going to slow down. He understands this. And so right off the snap, he brings it back up. Now he's pumping and he's staying high on this wave. You see this little crumbly section here. If he was back here off that turn, he wouldn't have made this section. So as he keeps going, he knows I want to be up high. I got to get as much speed as I can. And now he's flying and he comes into this turn. This guy's like, please don't cut that thing all the way back into me. And he doesn't. He stops right here, does lose a little bit of power, a little bit of speed right here because see how he's flattening out? And he knows that. So what is he going to do? He's going to pump to get what? More speed. Comes back up high as he possibly can. Look at that. And now he's going to take off running on this thing to get enough speed for that turn. Once again, comes back up. Oh, look at that. He sees a board in the way. He probably wanted to hit that. There's like a whole bunch of stuff. This is Malibu for you. Comes back up. He sees that. He's even like, what do I... Look at the expression right there. Like, really? That was the section I wanted to hit. How do you just leave a board lying around? Anyhow, still staying high on this wave, builds that speed, gets another really nice turn. Because of the speed, he's able to really lean into it because he got speed from coming off the top here. So he leans into that one really nicely, comes back up high again to get some more speed for the inside section, little turn there, and keeps going. So that's a really long wave. He extended it out by using speed off the face of the wave. Okay, I really like this one. Now get your head out of the gutter. This is like basic on how to use speed. This is great because she's not a pro, and I like this. This is what everybody can do. Boards turned sideways. She paddled sideways. That way she's automatically going down the line. She's not going to end up down here in the flats getting stuck behind this wave. Takes off, comes down. Now her first instinct, see where she's looking? She's looking up higher. She also knows that this wave is eventually going to close out, so she needs speed. What does she do? A little bottom turn all the way back up. She gets it up really high, lays it flat. A lot of the weight evenly distributed, bent at both knees. And now she's ready to use that speed. Distributes the weight to the front leg. And here she goes. Look at that. It's a closeout wave. The only other thing she could have done right here would have been she could have come up higher, pumped, and then did a little, like a little floater right on this section. But sometimes you want to come up and you could hit this, do a nice little floater over this section. Hey, I hope this helps you better understand the value of speed on waves when you're out there surfing. Thanks for watching. I'm Brad Jacobson, and I'll see you on the sand.